Hi guys, hello and welcome to Java tutorial. Today we will learn about the switch case. I've given you switch case tutorials in Java before, but I want to talk about something new that has happened in Java in the last few years in terms of using switch case statements. And a lot of you might not have even learned about it because a lot of the textbooks don't talk about it and a lot of the tutorials don't talk about it either. So if you have already learned switch case, you probably are familiar with something like this. Or if you have never used switch case before in Java, then have a look at this example very closely because we will then be learning about the improvements that have been made in Java. So here it's a very simple program. In this program, I'm accepting an input from user, storing that in a variable called code. And then I'm checking to see if code is 1, 2, or 3. If it is any one of the three cases, then enter building 1. If it is any of these cases, enter building 3. If otherwise, building 1, floor 2, room 2. Now, breaks are required between each of the sets of cases, otherwise all cases will run. So if case 1, 2, or 3, any one of the three values are the values for code, then this will be displayed and you will break out of the switch case. Let me run this for you so that you can see it. So if I enter a value of, let's say, 5, so it should show me enter building 3, floor 2, room 200. Similarly, if I enter a value of 1, it should tell me enter building 1, floor 5, room 567. If I enter a value of 15, then it goes into the default, which is enter building 1, floor 2, room 2. Now let's look at another example of case. Now this is an improvement that you have not seen yet. Exactly the same code as before in terms of an output, but inside of the code is very different. Now notice this is what we wrote before, case 1, case 2, case 3, which could now be replaced with this new syntax, case 1, comma 2, comma 3. And you use this arrow operator now instead of having to use colons all the way through. But one thing different that you have to use in this syntax is you got to use the curly braces as a code block as opposed to writing your instructions and having a break. You do not need break anymore. So all you do, you write your case once and you list all the values that will be true in that case, and it'll automatically apply or. So either code is 1 or 2 or 3, then run this. Case 4 or 5 or 6, run this. Default is that. Let me run this so that you can see how it works. Works exactly the same way. As you can check the outputs, and if I enter a value of 4, then building 3, and if I enter any other value such as 15, then this is basically the default output. So this is a new thing that was started. So you need to have at least Java 14 to run this code, just so that you be clear. Now let me show you another variation. Switch cases can now also be used as a value returning tool. That is amazing stuff. So look over here. Passing department code to the switch case. The switch case is testing. If the value is 1, 2, or 3, then it will automatically return Dan Matthews to the string called vice president name. If the value is 4, 5, or 6, then it'll return Sarah Ferris to VP name. Otherwise, Carla Markson will be the name. So switch case is working like a value returning code block. Now let me show you how it works. So if I enter a value, let's say 1, notice Dan Matthews gets passed back. If I enter value, let's say 6, then Sarah Ferris gets passed. If I enter value 11, then that's a default, which is Carla Markson that gets passed to the VP name. This is a great step in Java, something very different that you didn't have to get to see before. Now, final switch improvement that I want to talk about is similar ideas before, but with one more improvement. Let's say you are using a switch case as a value returning tool for a value that needs to come back in the VP name. But before you want to display the value, you also want to display some other outputs. For example, if the value is 1, 2, or 3, you want to basically tell what 1, 2, or 3 represents. So you want to have some outputs there. If you want to have some outputs there, you cannot just list the value. Rather, you have to use a keyword yield, which works like a value return. It works like a return instruction. So after you display these 3 lines of output, then you return Dan Matthews, but we don't say return here. We use the Java keyword yield. Similarly, if the value is 4, 5, or 6, you display this output, and then you yield Sarah Ferris. For default, there are no instructions to display, so you simply return Carla Markson. Let's run this so that you can see how it works. So I enter value of 2. Notice it displays in my output Marketing Sales Publishing House and Dan Matthews. Okay, now let me run it again with value, let's say 6. So 4, 5, 6. VP is Sarah Ferris. Run it again. 15. So it's Carla Markson. No outputs. So these are some improvements that have been made in switch case in Java. Hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know in the comment section below if you knew about these improvements already, and also let me know if you want me to cover a certain topic in Java that I might not have already covered. And also let me know in the comment section below how you will going to use this in your assignments or in your work applications. See you guys next time. Till then, bye-bye.